About 1,300 children in the U.S. die from shootings each year, and researchers estimate about 1 out of every 3 children live in a home with someone who has a gun. So how can you keep that weapon out of the hands of children? Fox Medical Team's Beth Galvin live this morning to walk us through some very important safety measures. Good morning to you, Beth.
And good morning to you, Maria. Thanks for having me on. You know, doctors, I spoke with an emergency room doctor who treats, children coming in with firearm injuries here in Atlanta. And she was just saying that you cannot make assumptions that, you may believe that you have hidden the gun where the child is not going to find it. But Children's Nationwide Children's Hospital, which has done some gun research, says that 75% of kids who have a gun in their home know where it's stored. So you can't assume that you've hidden it in a way that kids can't get to it, and you can't assume that you've talked to your kids about gun safety as a gun owner and that they are going to not handle a gun if they see it. Their research studies show that in many cases when presented with a gun, even kids who've been talked to about it by their parents and educated about not touching the gun will handle the gun because their curiosity sort of overrides what they've been taught in that moment, and that moment can be really incredibly dangerous when we talk about accidental shootings.
So yeah, very frustrating statistic, but talk to me about the safest way to have a gun in the home when you do also have children in the home. I mean, we've heard that you need to keep it unloaded and locked up. What does that look like?
Absolutely. So, there's 3 steps to really think about, and the American Academy of Pediatrics says if you have a gun in the home with children, it must be unloaded. You cannot have bullets in that gun. You just can't afford to take that chance. So, the 3-step process is unload the gun and then store it in a locked container, or a locked box or some kind of gun safe, and then try to store the bullets separately if you can and secure those. So you've got the gun unloaded, you've got it locked or stored in a lockbox, and you've got the bullets stored separately. And that's just really critical, a critical step to take.
So even if you do absolutely everything right, you can't assume that others are also doing the right thing there with those weapons. So what should parents be asking to maybe their friends' parents, or how should they be talking to their children about this?
So, Mariah, not just the friends' parents, but, family members, relatives, grandparents who may have a gun in the house. And just, having that conversation now before your child goes over to play, before your child goes for a sleepover of, hey, listen, my kid's really curious, and my pediatrician told me, to ask about guns. Do you guys have a gun? How do you store the gun? Is the gun secure? And, you can put it off on if it's uncomfortable to talk about, just put it off on your pediatrician, because they are urging parents to have this discussion. It's just really important not to assume that other people take this as seriously as you do, and are aware of what can happen. And that way you're just sort of reducing the risk there to your child of coming across a gun in somebody else's house, because the studies show that when we talk about like tween boys and young teen boys, they are often, when there are accidental shootings, they're often shot at a friend's house. They're often shot by a sibling. And often it comes with these, it's a small number of the actual, shootings that kill and injure children, but these are preventable injuries, and these are preventable deaths with taking the right steps to secure those guns and keep them out of the hands of children.
Beth, thank you so much for joining us. Excellent advice today.
Thank you.